Hey everybody, welcome back to our wrap video. We got our car here. As you can see, it's all wrapped and ready to go. We filmed the whole process, and while this was being filmed, I was busy working. Heather was here to run the camera as usual. So I really wasn't able to be involved in much of this because I was so busy, but Heather's got all the footage. She's going to take you behind the scenes, start to finish. You're going to like it. Stay tuned. It's coming up next. Hi, I'm Billy Dietrich, sprint car mechanic and driver. I've been around racing my whole life and it's pretty much all I know. We created this channel to share the good and the bad and everything in between. Our crew may not be the most experienced or professional, but we get it done and we have a good time doing it. We'll show you what it's really like racing weekly at some of the best tracks in central Pennsylvania. I'm also going to share some sprint car tutorials, mechanics, and parts, and whatever else I feel like. So like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And enjoy the ride. Yeah, boy!
In this video, we're going to show you how we go from a design like this to a fully race-ready wrapped sprint car. Don't mind Billy in the background there. He got a huge piece of metal stuck in his hand working in the shop that day. Don't worry, we dug it out later. I'm sure all you shop guys understand. Here we go. When I showed up at the shop this morning, the guys had already started on removing the old vinyl from the backup wings we keep in the trailer. Even though the wings are fine, the vinyl won't match if we should smash one. So we take off the old vinyl and replace it with vinyl that matches the new car. These Titan top wings are clean and ready to be wrapped. Zach uses a blowtorch to heat the rivets and the wing itself so that the vinyl goes on a little easier. Now Zach and Paul are ready to install the first vinyl panel on the sideboard of the top wing. They peel off the backing and kind of line it up together. Something cool I learned about this process is that you really don't have to get it perfect the first time. The vinyl is pretty forgiving to pull back off as long as you don't smooth it down. You can adjust several times before you might get it perfect. As you can imagine, there's tons of smoothing and manipulating, heating and wrapping that goes into making this flat piece of vinyl fit a curved sideboard. And there'll be tons more of this as we go through the car. I'm going to leave small segments of this in so you can kind of appreciate the hard work and craftsmanship that goes into this whole process. All right, this is one of those things that you'll probably always wonder about or have never thought about in your entire life. I know I've looked at the wing before and wondered, how do they get those little rivets so tight with the vinyl? Well, here's how. Zach actually addresses each rivet on the wing sideboard by going to each one, putting a little slit in it, and then going back with a blowtorch and heating it so that the vinyl will suck down and release any excess air. This is a super time-consuming and tedious process considering how many rivets are on each sideboard and how many sideboards are included in this entire project. But it's all worth it to make sure the wing has that finished, crisp, clean look when it's totally done.
Perfect.
Now on to the other side. The last step for these wings is putting the sponsors on. I feel like the guys take extra time on this step. They know how super important these sponsors are to our race team and how they're going to be at the track looking for their logo and expecting it to be perfect. We definitely put extra consideration when we're designing the car into what colors these are going to be so that they match the car but still stand out on the track. And I think we really nailed it this year.
Perfect.
Now on to the actual car. The guys start with the bottom kick plates and this really cool, what Bill is calling ghost checkered. Then they continue and put the stripe on the side of the car. It's funny because there's all these separate panels underneath this vinyl, but they're just going to go ahead and slap the vinyl on and address the separate pieces later so that they're all perfectly matched. I honestly had no idea how they did this. Every time we get the car lettered, I'd take a look and be like, how on earth did they get those panels to line up so perfectly? It could be middle of one letter to another letter, and it's seamless. This whole process is pretty amazing, but I would say this is probably one of the top things that I could never figure out, and it just all makes sense now. This arm guard is probably one of the most difficult parts of the car. And with our design, not only does Zach have to go around a rounded part with a flat piece of vinyl, but he also has to make sure that that stripe doesn't get wonky or crooked or warped.
Perfect.
It was amazing watching Paul use heat and these gloves to get this stripe just right. Just like with anything else, it's these small areas that make all the difference in having a clean, crisp looking car opposed to something that has wavy lines and looks messy. Zach really had his work cut out for him down here on the bottom of the arm guard where this stripe went over. He took a lot of time to cut and move this stripe to make sure that it looked good on the side of the car. If he had just installed it as is, it would have dipped down under and been hidden by the arm guard, leaving a section of the car without a stripe. Next to go on are the sponsors. Again, right on top of this vinyl, on top of a bunch of small panels underneath. In a few minutes, you're going to see how they address this and cut them all apart. It's so super important they get these right where they're supposed to be. So there's lots of taping and temporarily putting them on there, rolling back in the chair and checking it out, making sure it looks just right. Now that they got everything where they want it, they cut the panels apart and then individually address the edges and sides of each one.
Perfect.
Paul cuts out all the Zeus button holes in the panels, and as I'm watching him do this, I can't help but wonder if he's ever missed one. Seriously though, it's such a satisfying process to watch. The circles end up so perfectly round, and he goes so fast, it's like he's done this a million times.
Perfect.
Now it's time to put the panels back on the car and make sure everything's a perfect fit. Finally, time to rewrap those front wings we started with early this morning. Our original design did not have yellow on this nose cone, but once Bill saw the car wrapped, he asked Zach if he could make it yellow so that it kind of flowed into the front of the car. Zach didn't have any extra yellow vinyl with him, but he used a trimming from the stripe down the side of the car to cover these small nose cone pieces, and I personally think it turned out great.
Perfect.
Since the stickers go right over everything on the first shot, Zach has to go back and cut around the actual components of the race car. Like here, he's cutting out the rear radius rod. Now we've hit the home stretch, wrapping the front wing and tail tanks. Almost done. Zach told me these tail tanks can be a real challenge because basically the whole thing is rounded and you're putting a flat sticker on it. Kinda hard to believe when he makes it look so easy. Project complete. Let's get that wing on and see what it looks like.
Perfect.
Now that the car is all done, I pull Billy away from work so we can film a wrap up with Zach. There are literally customers standing here watching us do this, and I really appreciate their patience for lending me my husband for this YouTube video for 5 minutes.
Zach's been here for a while. Him and his helper have been steadily at it, trying to get everything just so perfect, which they did. Just watching it, there's a lot of technique involved, a lot of going around the rivets, certain ways of wrapping the edges and whatnot. So, how hard is it?
I feel like the more you do it, it's like racing. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. Where if I was to jump in your seat, I'd be in the fence pretty quick. So me and Paul are pretty comfortable with lettering. I think where a lot of people like to watch graphics guys struggle is on the right side arm guard, where it dips in is always a struggle. And then the tail tank, because it's round. Any part of the car that's round with the kind of vinyl we use can be pretty difficult. But the amount of time it takes to letter, I feel like we have more time in the finishing process of the car, trimming the kick panels, doing the rivets, and trimming the wings and stuff. So I feel like a lot of the time it takes to letter a race car is more so in the finishing of it. So I'm super happy with how it came out, and you should be able to see it pretty good on the track and in victory lane.
Yeah, so I like the details like this stuff here. I mean, everybody sees the color, which is also like, all the checkers and, like he said, the wrap around here and then down here. So it really turned out good. I'm always amazed at how they can go from here to there, because I don't have that ability at all.
Yeah, right.
So looks great.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're here with Zach. We've got the car all wrapped up, Lakeside graphics. Zach, tell us about the car design and how all this went.
So, I forget when we first got our first text fired off, but went through a couple different renditions, and it became a team effort with the whole group here. I've been with Billy and Heather and Dan for quite a few years now, and it's a good patronage and good friendship we have with them. So, went through probably 5 or 6 design comps, and we ended on something with yellow and red in it. So, we gave it the best we got, and I think it's something that's modern yet retro, and it looks pretty sharp. I'm thankful.
Yeah, you did a good job. It turned out great. Just to circle back 1 second here, we had lots of designs. I was in charge of that at first, which did not go well. Thanks to Heather and Zach collaborating together, we got this awesome looking car behind us. Yellow really pops. The red looks great. I like the checkers, and then all the sponsors really pop too. So I'm excited to get it on the track, get it out in the sunlight, and see what everybody thinks. Well, that's a wrap. We'll be seeing this car on the track here in a few short weeks. Got a little less than a month till we're supposed to be racing, so you'll see this on the track looking good. Like I said, Zach did a good job.
Thank you. Zach, Lakeside Apparel and Graphics, lakeside-apparel.com. We do screen printing, embroidery, vinyl graphics, laser engraving, window tinting, the whole 9. If you know anything, give us a shout. Thank you very much.
Zach can look you up. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Yeah, boy.
Perfect.